least due to the Iranian conflict.
And just this evening, we learned a U.S. embassy in Saudi Arabia was struck by Iranian drones. We're told all staff members are sheltered in place and safe.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 11 on WBTV. I'm John Carter.
And I'm Siobhan Bryan. Tonight, we're told 6 U.S. service members are confirmed dead. At least 18 others are wounded. We do not know if any of those soldiers are from North or South Carolina. North Carolina Governor Josh Stein says he's waiting for more information.
Now, before we go any further, we want to give you a quick recap of how we got here over the last few days. Early Saturday morning, the president posted a video on social media announcing the U.S. and Israel launched multiple strikes against Iran. Some U.S. officials say Iran was very close to having long-range nuclear weapons. Others also say the mission is about regime change. We know, along with the U.S. service members, hundreds of civilians in Iran and surrounding countries are dead. The president says the conflict could last up to 4 to 5 weeks.
Today, oil prices rose sharply, partially because of disruptions to oil tankers. 20% of the world's oil supply travels through this small canal, but Iran stopped all ships going through once the fighting began. This is expected to cause higher gas prices. WBTV's Forrest Tucker has been tracking local gas prices and speaking with drivers. So, Forrest, you're already seeing some changes at the pump.
Siobhan, I saw 2 gas stations on Wilkinson Boulevard that had $2.99 a gallon posted on their signs as of last check. According to Gas Buddy, one of those gas stations was at $2.60 just hours ago. With the U.S. and Iran trading blows,
there's a lot of headlines, there's a lot of questions, none of which we have a whole lot of clarity on.
Gas prices could rise, putting a strain on the wallets of many.
To live under a dictator like in Iran, yes, it's worse. Even if we're going to pay a price, yes, somebody needs to stop this and immediately.
It scares me, man. We just started to get some lower prices. I was grateful for it, lower than I've seen in a long time. So if it spikes up, I'm going to be mad again at the government.
There's just only so much the regular person I feel like can do, right, to make that impact, but I do think that staying knowledgeable and being informed is definitely a huge thing.
Worldwide, Brent crude oil increased 6% to $77 per barrel in the past 2 days. But experts say the incline felt by drivers will likely not be very steep or very quick.
This is not going to be an overnight massive spike, but it will be noticeable to most motorists.
On Monday in North Carolina, prices rose nearly 6 cents compared to Sunday, sitting at $2.81 on average. The Tar Heel State has the 16th least expensive gas prices, according to Gas Buddy. As President Trump says the attack on Iran may take weeks, experts say the unknown causes more changes.
The known would reduce oil prices if there becomes clarity, but it's the unknown that is stoking fears and oil prices reaction tonight. So if there is some sort of clarity in the days ahead, whether from Iran or the United States or Israel, on how long this would last, would be able to put potentially an end date for the potential impacts that we're seeing.
As far as the Charlotte metro area is concerned with gas prices, some counties are at about $2.70 on average for a gallon of gas. Others are tilting towards $2.80 a gallon. Live in Charlotte, Forrest Tucker, WBTV, on your side.
All right, thanks, Forrest.